Hey guys, what's up? NinjaBettie here again with episode 2 of Dark Souls 3 Path of a Warrior. We've got Hagrid here, stood at the entrance to Firelink Shrine, and I'm super stoked today to play and carry on this series because my Dark Souls hoodie arrived. The other day I ordered a Chosen Undead hoodie from Gametee, which is a lovely place based in the UK. So if you're in the UK, I think they ship to America and other places as well, but if you are in the UK, then I suggest you to check them out. I'm going to link them in the description of this video, and I might even pop something on the screen here as well. But yeah, I absolutely love them. This isn't paid by them or anything. I wish it was, because their clothes are amazing. Their t-shirts are super comfy, they do really cool designs, and yeah, their artwork is amazing. I had the lovely opportunity of meeting AJ Haitley, who's my favourite artist from there, and she's one of the two girls that originally started it. And she's absolutely lovely. I met her a few years ago at GemuCon, and was actually shocked that I'd bought something from her before. I was a product design student in college, and I went on this website called Fancy Every Day, if anyone knows of that, which basically shows like really cool products and things. And I saw these awesome like luggage case style gaming stickers for like Rapture and Kanto Region and Junon, and I bought them and stuck them on my wallet and stuck them all over my laptop. So then when I went to GemuCon, I met her and got my laptop out because I was like, oh, I want to buy one of your t-shirts, they're really cool. She's like, oh, you've got my stickers on your wallet. And that was a really interesting thing for me. But yeah, go check them out. They do mugs, they do apothecary stuff like beard combs and candles and body creams and all sorts of stuff. They're amazing. They're a great bunch of artists. They work with some really amazing YouTubers, some of the Yogscast, Jesse Cox, Dex Bonus or Dodger, some people that I really love, and they're just great. So that's my little non-paid promotion over. Just check them out. On with the game. So, Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 3. What we see before us as we look around is the 5 thrones of the Lords of Cinder. And we'll have a bit of a look around and a bit of explore of Firelink Shrine while we're here. Looking down we see 2, 3 NPCs, and yeah, I think first thing we're going to do is just introduce you guys to everyone here in Firelink Shrine and take a little bit of a look around and explore of some of the further area of the Firelink Shrine area itself. So, first NPC we meet, whose name I always forget, but I don't care because I actually absolutely hate him, is this game's equivalent of the Crestfallen Warrior.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
And he gives us the collapse emote.
Don't you think?
No, I don't think. I hate you. Go away. So, we come down here, and here we have the Firekeeper. We're not going to talk to her yet. I think we're going to have a look around a bit more first, because in the background, for those of you who've played Dark Souls 1, we see an old friend, Andre of Astora the Blacksmith.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre.
He's got his wonderful blacksmith's hammer,
as a
all of these
forging
weapons and shields around him.
Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
And so, yeah, again, Andre is the smith of this game. He lets us reinforce our weapons with Titanite, and that goes for melee weapons, ranged catalysts, which is shrine tokens and stuff. You may notice that my chime is missing. That's because I had to start this character again, because I lost a bit of footage again. Rookie stuff, I'm getting used to it. I've sorted it now. But again, we have our Caduceus round shield and Uchigatana, the broken straight sword, and the hand axe. He'll also let us infuse our weapons, so at the minute we can do refined, raw, and fire gems. We'll get coals throughout the games, which are items that we give to Andre, and they let us expand the range of gems that he can give us. Repairing equipment, same as all other Dark Souls games. If you hit walls and hit enemies, your equipment degrades, and at points, if it fully breaks, you will have to restore it here. In this game we can allot Estus, so we can decide how many Estus flasks we want of our total amount to go to healing or to mana regen. So I think I'm going to go do for 2 right now. And reinforcing Estus, so this lets us use Estus shards and turn them into additional flasks as we get throughout the game. And talking to him just gives you kind of what I've just said, but in an Andre style. Be careful. So around here, this is all just barren and desolate currently, and this will fill up throughout the game as we get more and more NPCs to talk to. The next NPC that we ran past in here is the Shrine Handmaiden. She serves as our general store, and
pleasure to make thine acquaintance,
she's quite interesting at
I
points.
am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets
and spells.
I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveller. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
So here we can buy and sell kind of all different items and weapons and spells that we get in the game, and we can also at later points give her Umbral Ash, which will expand her shop. But she says she's a humble shrine maiden, or a humble handmaiden of the shrine, but
Ashen One, be sure.
I think there's a bit more to her story than that we don't really find. She's wearing some red robes that, if you can see by the bottom trims, are golden. They're actually quite fancy. And what I was trying to do while she was doing her speech was get a look at her eyes, because as you can see from here, she has a bandage wrap across her eyes, which means she's blind. And the majority of blind characters in the Dark Souls games, there's 2 sets of them. There are priestesses who work with charms and miracles. In the lore of this game, there is kind of a magic or a power found in blindness, or the kind of truth or hiddenness of being blind. But the also other blind characters are the Firekeepers, and they're blinded so that they don't see the dark side, the hints of darkness from a world without fire or a world losing its fire. And if anyone played Dark Souls 2, then at the start of that game you met a group of old women who were sat in a house together, and they were old Firekeepers, and they all wore these red robes and were all blind. So I'd like to think that rather than being a humble handmaiden, she is potentially an old Firekeeper. We don't know if the Firekeepers are human or undead, but as she is undead, there may have been a point where the handmaiden died, as they do. They get laid to rest when the job is done, but was potentially resurrected as an undead or as an unkindled to link the fire herself, and failed to do so. And instead of that, became the handmaiden we see today. None of this is canon, this is all lore and ideas from my head, but it's quite interesting looking at her character model and the way she speaks, because I think there's more to her than we know from the main game. So let's go around the Lords of Cinder. Let's look at their thrones. Firstly, we have St. Aldrich of the Deep. So he was in the introduction video, and just kind of a gelatinous blob of deep. You can see that his throne has been covered in a tarpaulin or something to stop him getting it dirty, and you can see like the little shine and shimmer of deep sludge on it. We have Ludleth the Exiled, or Ludleth of Corland, who we're not going to speak to now, but we will touch him later on because he's a very useful NPC in this game. Up at the top, in the large throne, which is quite interesting because it looks like it is embered. If you look at our character now, we've got kind of fire rippling through us, and this throne has the same effect. And this is Holy King Lothric, last hope of his line. And obviously we are in Lothric, or we will soon be in Lothric. So he plays quite a pivotal role in the story, or his family do at least. The next we have the Watchers of the Abyss, and you can see their swords lining the throne, just all laid about it. And these look a lot similar, if not smaller, to the Wolf Sword of Artorias from Dark Souls 1. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. They play quite a strong link in this game to Artorias, and we'll find that in the next few episodes. And finally, Yum the Giant of the Profaned Capital, with his enormous throne. And all of these are characters that we'll meet later on in the game, and we'll talk to at later points, or talk about at least at later points. But for now, let's go over here and speak to our humble firekeeper.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
And she'll let us level up,
Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these
we can take
sovereignless
nourishment
souls.
from sovereignless souls to level up the different attributes of our character. And you can see, I'll go through them slowly. So you've got Vigour, which increases your HP and different physical defences that you have. Attunement, which increases our FP, which is something I'll be upgrading in this character. Our magical and dark defense, and if you get it up certain levels, will increase your attunement slots and your resistances. Basically everything red, or everything highlighted, will be upgraded at some point. May not be every level, maybe every few, may get upgraded multiple times with a single level, but it will be upgraded by putting points into that attribute. And our attunement slots means we can have multiple spells. Endurance is physical resistances, defences, and our stamina, which allows us to roll more, run for longer, and attack more. Vitality gives our equip load, and in this game there's a overweight, as it were, at 70%. So you always need to keep your equipment below 70% to be able to fast roll and run while using a lesser amount of stamina. Strength, which will increase the direct attack power of our weapon and our defences. And strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, and luck occasionally are all things that are weapon attributes. So different weapons in the game will require different weapon attributes relating to these 5. And for the majority it will be strength and dexterity, but certain staffs have intelligence, items used for miracles have faith requirements, and certain swords or certain weapons have luck requirements. And different weapons in the games also scale with these, so putting them up more will basically make them do more additional damage on top of their base. And you can see these all increase our attacks in different ways, and luck will also increase your item discovery rate and bleed chance. And that's quite a popular PvP and PvE build at the minute, is a dexterity luck build. But for now, I think what we're going to do is put a little bit into intelligence and faith. We're going to put 2 points into attunement and 1 point into vigour. And there we have our first level up. Farewell indeed.
Flames guide thee.
So, this is Firelink Shrine, and before we carry on in the story, we're going to have a look a little bit more around the surrounding area, because there's some things, in addition to what we've already done, that you can do at this stage in the game, which I'll attempt to show you. So if we go up here, and out of this archway, we see a tower in front of us, and there's a ladder to the side that we can't currently access. We can get a soul up here, but this tower is locked, and we'll buy a key for that later on in the game from the Shrine Handmaiden. But one thing we can attempt to do is get onto this roof and get to just up to there where that glowy little item is. So by running up the tree and jumping, and this takes some time, so if it takes me more than a few attempts, I'll skip through this until I'm on there. There we go, and we can jump up here and get these homeward bones off the roof. We can also run round to the front side of the shrine, and we're now up above Firelink Shrine on the roof. And I'm going to head round here and get this item, which is the first Estus shard of the game, and allow us to get that one more Estus flask. And we meet the final NPC that's here at the start of the game for Firelink Shrine. And this is Picklepea Pumperum the crows. So in Dark Souls 2 we had crows like this. I think they were sharp, soft, shiny and something like that. But basically we can trade them items that use, there's specific items that you can find in the game which you can drop here on the floor, and they will give you items in return and basically trade them for stuff. And we'll come back to these later on when we've got some of the items that they desire. But for now we're going to meet the first illusory wall of the game. So now you see we're at the back above King Lothric's throne, and we're going to jump down here and find a chest. So this is the first chest of the game. This game does have mimics at points, and there's quite an easy way of telling what's a mimic and what's a normal chest. If you look at the chain on the side, if it curls back you can open it. If it curls forwards then you can attack it. But here we get the covetous silver serpent ring. That's something I'm going to put on now. It's been in all the Dark Souls games, and it's basically a ring that lets you get more souls when you kill an enemy. So let's have a look what it says. A silver ring depicting a snake that could have been but never was a dragon. Fallen foes yield more souls. Snakes are known as creatures of great avarice, devouring prey even larger than themselves by swallowing them whole. If one's shackles are cause for discontent, perhaps it is time for some old-fashioned greed. So, this is a greed ring. This is basically letting us get more souls and level up a bit quicker. And we can jump through this window here, back down, which we see is just up there. So, let's head back down to the bonfire, and let's plunge the coiled sword into the fire to light it. And there we have the Firelink Shrine hub bonfire lit for the first time. From here we can travel to the other bonfires in the game. We can attune our spells, which will let us set multiple spells. And you see now I've got 2 because I upped my attunement. We can organise our storage box, which is a storage box, so I'm going to stick the broken sword and the Uchigatana in there for now because I don't really need them on this character. And we can also burn undead bone shards, which are an item we'll find throughout the game, which will let us upgrade the amount of healing and the amount of mana or FP that each Estus flask and each Ashen Estus flask restored. So we're going to travel to the first bonfire of the main game, the High Wall of Lothric. And here we are on the high wall, in our first closed room. Behind us, we see a basin with a coiled sword on it. And for those of you who've played Dark Souls 1, this basin may look familiar. So this is, well, it isn't, but it looks like one of the Lord vessels, or the Lord Soul vessels. And there are apparently 3 bowls similar to this in the first area of the game. I've never bothered to look for them myself, but if I do on this playthrough, I'll point them out, and if any of you notice them, then please drop in the comments the time where it is, because I'd be interested to find them for myself. So onwards, and let's open the doors onto the high wall of Lothric. We see Lothric Castle looming in the distance. And down below us, we see the first proper bonfire. So let's head down here and light it, and we'll decide what to do from there. So from this first bonfire we have 2 paths. We can go to the left down here and past the dragon corpse, or we can go right to the far little tower over there, and excuse me, that's the way we're going to go for now. But we're not going to go down the stairs, because just on this little rooftop is a nice hollow archer, and he's really going to piss you off if you go down that way. So just come onto this roof and slap him in the face a few times. That makes things much easier to deal with. And now we can take a better look at the situation. We've got a hollow walking up the stairs, a pair of dogs prowling the area, and another hollow at the back. So, let's see if we can coax this first dog. There we go. It's one dog down. Jump off here, try and get a firebomb on the second. There we go, much better. We can drop on to this axe guy. Hopefully take him out before he does any damage to us. Nope. There we go. And watch out when you're getting this item. His friend will get up, but he's not too hard to deal with. Just a tiny little ambush. Now we have the final enemy of this wall. The halberdsman. And he can be a little bit of a pain to deal with, especially if you don't manage to take out the axe guy on the stairs. Trying to fight those two right at the start of the game together can be a little bit difficult. We'll head up onto the rooftop and watch out for the crossbow. So that's him down, but he's not the worst enemy up here. The worst enemy is that innocent looking topless high. And I'm going to try and show you why. So this hollow is a lot like Udex Gundyr in that he will transform into a giant monster, and he does a lot of damage. But if you do let him transform and manage to defeat him, you can get yourself a Dark Gem, a Titanite Shard and an Ember, which is quite a good reward at this point in the game. If you're struggling defeating him and want to get this item, then your best chances are to range him or to rush him and hit him. He only takes 1 or 2 hits, but if you can get him before he transforms, you won't get the rewards, but at least you'll be able to get this longbow here, which for the majority of melee classes will be the first ranged weapon you have access to in the game. I always go around here and I always forget that there is no item there. That just annoys me. You can kill these guys as well that are dotted around for souls. They don't really give many, but at this point in the game it's kind of up to you. Souls aren't that hard to come by, but it's always nice to have a few extra. And we're going to head back up onto the wall and rest at the bonfire, and I think call it at that for this episode, because we've explored quite a bit of the shrine. We've talked a lot about kind of the starting bit of the game and the hub world, and we're going to rest here and we'll carry on down the left hand path at the start of the next episode. So I've been NinjaBettie, this is Dark Souls 3 Path for Warrior. I hope you're enjoying watching this, because I'm really enjoying playing it for you, and yeah, I just love this game. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and my thanks. I will see you guys next time.